Hi everyone, my name is Anjali and welcome to this video on software testing. If you are a beginner or just curious about how a software is tested before reaching users, then you are in the right place. In today's video, I will help you understand the basics of software testing, how it works, the techniques, tools and the frameworks used. So let's get started. What is software testing? Software testing is checking whether application is working as expected and is free from bugs or issues. For example, imagine if you are buying a pizza from any food delivery app like Swiggy or Zomato and a pizza with no onion is your preference. Let's think that. Okay. Now, when the pizza arrives, it is full of onion in it. Then, now think, was this fault is by the delivery boy? No, the app is not working as expected. That is, some issues or bugs still persist in the app. A software tester job is to find those bugs and defects before it reaching to the customer. In software testing, there are two types of testing: white box testing and black box testing. In black box testing, the tester doesn't need to have coding knowledge, that is just checking the functionalities for an application. For example, if you are checking the login functionalities of an application. In black box testing, you don't need to know the code behind the username, password, the credential field, and you don't need to know the code, the logic, the flow and the control. Just you need to check the functionalities. That is, when you enter correct, valid credentials, and what you are expecting is, what the user expecting is, they need to redirect to the intended page. That is what they were expecting. So in black box testing, just checking the functionalities whether it is working or not as per the requirements of the client. And on the other hand, in white box testing, they need to have the coding knowledge, like they need to know the loops, conditions, the flow and internal code logic. So in white box testing, in the case of a login page, they check how the if-else condition, how loop works and all. I will tell you a real world example. Let's take microwave oven. Okay. If you are heating your food and that you set the timer to 2 minutes, and what you are expecting is that after 2 minutes you should get the hot product, hot food, right? So in black box, if we what we do is we just check that after 2 minutes we getting the hot food or not. On the other hand, in white box, you need to know the connection, the wiring, the timer, how the timer mechanism work, that how this microwave functionalities and all. So this is the difference between black and white box testing. In black box testing, you don't have to know the coding knowledge. It doesn't require any coding knowledge. And on the other hand, in white box testing, it requires coding knowledge. You need to understand the units, the components, the if-else condition and the loops and all. So here in black box, it doesn't require these all requirements. Okay, just checking if the application is working as expected. That is, if all the functionalities are working or not. No need to understand the code. So this is the difference between black and white box testing. Level of testing. There are different levels of testing in software testing: unit, integration, system and acceptance testing. In unit testing, we check each individual components of a source code. And in integration testing, what we check is, we check if combining two modules, what happens, if any issues or bugs arises after combining two modules. This is actually what we check in integration testing. And in system testing, we check the whole system, if it works or not, if it has any bugs or defects. This is actually checking the entire system is called system testing. And then acceptance testing. Acceptance testing means we check the final product. That is, final software is checking before it delivering to the users. For example, imagine if you are checking a car, okay, then checking the engine part is the unit testing. Engine plus the wheel is the integration. That means we combining two modules, that is engine plus wheel. Consider them as two modules, okay. We combining two modules and checking whether it works or not, it has any defects or not. And in system testing means checking the whole car. And in acceptance testing, what it mean by is we do a test drive before it giving to a customer. In software testing, there are two types of testing: manual testing and automation testing. In manual testing, we testers manually test something, whether an application has any defects or bugs. We manually entering some credentials, or we have, for example, in a login page, we manually enter the credentials and we are checking whether it works or not. In manual testing, we don't use any tools like any automation tools. We manually entering and we manually writing the test cases. On the other hand, in automation testing, we use some tools and frameworks in order to check an application. Okay, for example, a login page. We manually enter the valid credentials. After that, what we are expecting is that it should redirect us to the intended page after entering the valid credentials. Okay, we do manually write the test cases for checking if we don't miss any user requirements or not. That's why we are writing the test cases. Okay, on the other hand, automation testing means we use the automation tools like Selenium in order to check whether the application is working as expected and is free from bugs and issues. I will give you an example. Let's think Flipkart. After registering the user need to log in. Okay. After login, user should have to browse the products. Okay. After browsing, they need to select a particular product and add them to the cart. Okay. Well, that's what actually happened. And after cart, they need to done the payment. Okay. Payment procedure. So this is actually happening in a Flipkart. In automation testing, what happens is we don't need to enter user registrations and all manually. By using some certain scripts, it automatically entering valid credentials and log into the page, and after that browsing some products, and after adding those products to the cart, doing the payment procedure. So this is happening in automation testing. So for that, we use a specific tool called Selenium. This Selenium is actually a free open source tool which is used to do automation testing, which has some set of test scripts in order to perform these testing process automatically. Now you think, okay, there is a tool. You might have a question, like you might ask that, oh, next in Selenium we just enter the plain test scripts or not? Only we done that, okay? You might have a question that only just we do that or not? But no, not really. We do some frameworks. We will use some frameworks for tracking the bug, organizing, reusing the bugs, and view for reporting. So Selenium is compatible with every browser and is platform independent, and we can use different languages. We can use Selenium with different languages like Python, Java, Ruby, C#, etc. In Selenium, we use some frameworks like TestNG, JUnit in order to organize, reuse the script and running it smoothly. So after this, when we found a bug or defect, we need to track those bugs and defects, right? So for that, we use some bug tracking tools like Bugzilla, Redmine, Jira and all. Before wrap up, I will conclude what all we taught today's video. What is software testing, the two types, the different levels of software testing, manual automation and automation tool like Selenium, and the frameworks. These all covered in this today's topic. In future, we will dive more deeper into these topics. So, thank you.